Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's DAF. Bava Kamma DAF Kuftes Zayin. We are 6 lines off the top of the Amud. Im Amar Loi Atzil Es Shalcha V'chulu. So we have 2 people on the road, and one fellow carrying wine, the other honey. Honey apparently is more valuable than wine, and the container holding the money burst. He's about to lose his whole honey. The wine fellow offers him an offer. He says, look, I'm willing to spill out my wine and take a loss and collect your honey into my container and salvage it. But you have to compensate me. You have to reimburse me for my wine. Okay, he made a deal, and he accepted the deal. He's obligated to abide by the terms of that deal. He can't just get away with, look, I'm paying you for your time and effort. No. He has to fully reimburse him for his lost wine. Amai asks the Gemara, why is that so? The honey fellow can turn to the wine person, look, I'm just kidding around. It's an exorbitant request. I should reimburse you for everything. You have a mitzvah to save my wine, my honey, and I'm just gonna give you, something for your work. I'm not gonna actually reimburse you for your wine. Miloi Tanya, haven't we learned in a similar case? A fellow is escaping from prison, and there's this ferry which he needs to board to get across the river and escape. Amar Loi, he turns to the ferry owner. Toil dinar vavireni. Could you please cross me, get me across the river, and I'm going to give you a dinar, which is a, really overpayment, more than the typical fee. I'm offering you some, exorbitant amount. Vavireni, carry me across, and the fellow conforms. He gives him the service. Does he have to give him the dinar, or just whatever the standard fare is? Ein lo ella sechari. He gives him standard fare. Alma, apparently. Amar le, because he can tell him, I know that I offered you this, big amount, but, I was just trying to spur you on. I didn't really mean it seriously. Amar le mishatani bach. You had a mitzvah to save me, to help me, and I'm just giving you your regular fare. I'm here as well with the wine and the honey. Le malay. So the honey owner can respond to the wine owner, mishatani bach. Mashata is lashon shtus, shaita. I'm just kidding around with you. It wasn't a serious offer. So why does he pay in full? Answer: Holy Damel Sefer. Actually, don't compare the Mishnah with the honey and the wine to the halacha just cited. Rather, to the next part of the brayso, where he pays him in full. Let's say the escapee turns to the ferry captain. Toil dinar zebiz charcha. Please take this dinar biz charcha. He adds that point. This is your salary, right? And carry me across. In this case, he's fully obligated. He can't just claim that he's. No, it's a serious offer. He has to abide by it. And the question is, ma'ishna reisha, ma'ishna sefer. So in reality, what difference does it make? Whether he said the word bischarcha, either way he said take the dinar. Whether he added the word bizcharcha or not, what's the difference? Rabbi Kamma, I'll tell you the difference. We're speaking about a fellow who's busy. He's giving up his income. He's giving up time to transport you across the river. B'tzayot, he's a fisherman, hashayla dagam nayam, who's engaged in fishery at that point. The Amalek, because he can tell his passenger, look, I'm more than happy, but you realize you're causing me a loss. All this time is going, right? Afsad tani kavri, you've made me lose some fish, which are worth a zuz, bezuzah, so you have to pay me for that. Here it's not some exaggerated offer, it makes sense. You can't just say, oh, I was just kidding, no, it's a real commitment. It's a fair deal. Because he's merely reimbursing him for his losses. Oh, likewise, the wine fellow is losing his wine, and therefore the honey fellow has to pay. Shataf nar chamayr, Case number 2 in the Mishnah. The river is washing away his donkey, and his friends as well. Now, shaloyaf mana, his is only worth 100, his friend's 200, and so on and so forth. And it's pretty much a repetition of the story with the wine and the honey. So we say, look, just because he gave up the opportunity to save his cheap donkey and he opted to save his friend's more expensive donkey, doesn't mean the friend has to pay him for his lost donkey. But if he preconditioned it, made a deal, look, I'm willing to forego saving my donkey, which is cheaper, in order to save yours, on condition you pay me for mine. In this case, he has to pay, just as with the wine and the honey. So it's not presumed unless it's clearly discussed. Utricha, why discuss 2 cases? Wine, honey, and 2 donkeys. Di ashmin kamaisa. If only the first case of the wine and the honey, perhaps it's only there where do we say that if he in fact stipulated, he gets it. He gets the full amount of the wine. Because over there he's actively spilling out his wine for the other fellow. He deserves to get paid. But here by the donkey, he's not throwing away his donkey, he's just refraining from making an effort to save his donkey. Right? Here perhaps he only gets paid, for his time. Because he didn't actually outright bring himself a loss for the sake of his fellow, of his friend. Now, on the other hand, on the flip side, if only the second case, here I would say, sure, if you stipulated, you get it, but if it's just, unspoken, you don't get compensated for your lost donkey, only you get schar, the regular, time and effort. I would think that's because it's happening on its own. So therefore you don't deserve as much. You didn't actually, physically give it up. You didn't actually throw away your donkey. You just did not go and save it. So here perhaps you have a lesser claim. So it's not considered presumed. Aval Hassan, as opposed to the first case where he's spilling out his wine, there be a dime. He's doing it be a dime. Over there, perhaps I feel a bit stomach, even if it's not spoken clearly. Let it be assumed, understood. I'm doing this, spilling my stuff out for you. I assume you're paying me back for it. No. That's why we have 2 cases, whether it's biyadayim or a mela. Pretty simple. You said it, you get it. Otherwise not. Continues the Gemara. Boy minei Rav Kahana, he asked the question, Mei Rav, Yorad lahatzel. So he forewent his donkey, he went to save the other donkey, v'Allah shalei mi'elav mahu. And suddenly his own donkey turns up, without his effort. Does he still get fully compensated? Because he actually gave up his donkey. So he deserves payment, but ultimately he got it back. Does he get his full pay or not? Of course he gets it. Because he willingly gave up his donkey. So you owe it to me. Hashem decided to give him a bonus. Send his donkey back too. So what? That doesn't absolve the other person from paying him back. Yehuda Rav Safra, we have a similar story involving Rav Safra, traveling with a caravan, a group of people through the desert. Lavino Ari, so every night, Lavino Ari, Hashem made a nace, and this lion was accompanying them and protecting them from the, any attackers. Now they have to keep the lion satisfied. So Kol Laila, every night, Kashadu Lechamra. They had an agreement, they had a deal. Every night, one night I send my donkey, feed it to the lion. The next night you send it, so on and so forth. And he would consume the donkey, one per night. And Rav Safra was part of that arrangement, right? Kimota Zimnei Rav Safra. So it came his night. Shadu Lechamra. So he offered his donkey to the lion. This time, lion kept away. Chamar of Rav Safra. It's like, Chamar there, Pinchas Ben Yair, special. He wasn't going to touch that animal. Okay. So, in the morning, Rav Safra notices donkey untouched. Kadem Rav Safra v'zachav. He quickly went and he took hold, he took possession, repossessed his own donkey. Took it back. Because it was really hefker, right? Why he doesn't have to resort to that kinyan? It's unnecessary. It's his. Why? Sure, he gave it up, but it was only adat of the Arye. The lion is going to consume it. I didn't give it up for anybody to take. The lion takes it, fine, otherwise I get it back. So why did he have to make that kinyan? Amalisi, he said, you're right. Rav Safra l'Rav Chadimul Sudav, he was just doing something extra to avoid any, misconception, any sort of problems. Bottom line, what do we see? Rav Safra was really obligated. He was supposed to contribute, just like everybody else. Right? At the end of the day, he didn't do that. Everybody else lost an animal. He didn't. He got his back. Does he have to reimburse them? No. Minas Shemayim, they gave it to him. Likewise in our story. Minas Shemayim, they gave you a bonus. Does not, enter, the equation. Here comes another question. Yorad lahatza v'lei hitz l'mau. I offered to give up my donkey, pursue yours. I went down to try to get it, and I was not successful. Does the other fellow have to pay me? Does the deal still stand because of my effort? We focus on effort or on results? He responded, what kind of question is this? Of course, he gets only for his time and effort. He doesn't. In fact, he was not successful. Here comes a kasha. He only gets a little pay, doesn't get full compensation. He hires somebody to bring him some, cabbage, some, whatever, for a sick person. And the fellow went and purchased it and got it, right? Comes back, ill man passed away. Or he recovered, and his services are needed. Does he still get paid or not? He gets fully paid. So apparently it's all about effort. He responded, no, midam, you can't compare. There, he did what he was supposed to do. He went to the market and got it. He fulfilled the instructions. Over here, he didn't, because the point was save the donkey. He didn't save it. So he doesn't get paid for that. We have a group traveling through the desert. We have this band of robbers about to attack them and rob them of their possessions. And they somehow paid off the robbers and sent them off on their merry way. Question. How do we distribute this expense? How do they contribute? You don't say lefin nefashos, meaning, there are 100 people, everybody pays, 1%. No. Because it was a monetary issue. They were attacking for money. So the more wealthy, the more, able, the ones that have more money are more in danger, right? They're going to lose more. So the ones that were bound to lose more gained more, benefited more. So it's all about, it's proportioned according to your wealth, according to, how much money you had at the time. On the other hand, if they hired a tire is like a tourist, a tour guide basically, to get them through the desert, save them from sakanas nefashos. Here it's about life, not about wealth. Right? So we factor according to people. So really, there are two factors here. There's the life factor and also the wealth. They're going to lose everything, right? So, whatever the cost of this tour guide is, we sort of go we go 50 and 50. 50% of it is prorated according to amount of people, so it's pretty much of an even distribution system. The other 50% is prorated according to the wealth factor. Now, whatever the minig of the wag of the donkey drivers is, basically whatever the truck drivers, whatever the travelers are accustomed to doing, that's what you do. So although we stipulated some sort of formula, but of course you follow the minig, the accepted practice at the time, which you submitted to. Furthermore, Rashoin Chamorin Lahasnes. Let's say you have a bunch of, donkey drivers, today's language, truck drivers, right? Hitting the road together, and they're sort of sharing the burden in terms of, they take turns watching the group at night, and all that, right? So Rashoin Chamorin Lahasnes. They're allowed to make this sort of stipulation. Sometimes something happens to the donkey on the road. Anybody who loses the donkey on the road, they're all contributing. They're all willing to buy a manu chamar. They want everybody to have a chamar, right? This way, they're all part of the group, and they're all contributing and watching the animals, etc. So that's the deal. Now, bekusya, if he lost it through carelessness, right? He wasn't careful with it. He didn't want. They don't have to buy menu chamar. That wasn't, shaloi bekusi, but it was not out of negligence. Mamidulai, then they have to buy the chamar. Now let's say he says like this: Tnuli bani eshmer. I don't need a new donkey. I have another one, right? Give me the money, and I'll continue being shamer the animals at night. Don't worry, I'm still going to be, doing my sentry duty. Ein shemiloi. They don't have to accept that offer. Rashi explains, because when you're an animal owner, you're meiser nefesh to protect the animals. When you're just a, free man, you're not going to really put in that effort if your animal is not there. Pshita, well, obviously, of course, that's a true argument. Well, Yitzrichel answers like this: This fellow had another donkey. He lost just one out of two. So in any case, his donkey is still amongst this group. Perhaps he can claim, I'm still going to really put an extra effort to really guard everybody because my animal is there. Kamashman, the Chilish is no. They can tell him, look, we want you to have two animals. This way you'll put in more effort. Shanin, Terusa Dechad, Minute Terusa Betray. Watching one animal is certainly less, less at stake by one animal than two. So we want you to have two. This way you'll be more involved and more committed. Turn it up on him. Sfina, so now we spoke about donkey drivers. Now we speak about seafarers. Sfina shahisam halachas bayam. You have a ship traveling at sea. Amad aleh nachsha. Nachsha is a storm. Suddenly there's a storm about to drown sink the ship, and they wanted to lighten the load. V'kilu mimaso. So they threw in some bundles and whatever. Machashven lefi masoy, ve'ein machashven lefi mamon. So a fellow came laden with gold, the other fellow with cheap metal. We don't look at value. It's about weight. I'm trying to lighten the load. So you throw in 100 pounds, you throw in 100 pounds. Irrelevant whether it's 100 gold, 100 silver, 100. Once again, we work with the minig, whatever the minig of the captains, whatever the, is accepted in that malkum, that's how you follow. That determines. And just as by the donkey drivers, that a similar arrangement between the captains, they can make a tanai amongst themselves. A person loses his boat, everybody, all the other captains contribute to buy him a boat. Let's say he lost it through carelessness. They're not responsible. But if it was not a careless situation, then they have to reimburse. It's like an insurance policy, right? Let's say this fellow, took his boat, to the reefs where ships do not travel, and he crashed his ship. They don't have to reimburse, right? Pshita, well, obviously, that's pretty obvious. Well, the Yitzrichel answers like this. You see, during Nisan time, after the rainy winter, when the tide is high, you only keep away chad ashla, one rope length from the bank. Basically, you can go very close because the water is deep. But Tishrei time, when it's after the summer and the tide is low, they keep away further, 2 rope lengths from the bank. And this fellow got confused because Nisan Makam Tishrei. So he took the wrong shipping lane. It's Nisan time, and instead of taking the side route, calm route, he went L'Makim Tishrei. which basically means further into the river. Problem is, it's good for Tishrei when things are pretty calm and tide is low, but now during Nisan it's stormy and deep and dangerous. And that's how he got stuck and he lost his vehicle. That's the case. So Mao the Tem Raps, I can say, look, I can excuse him davshe, his regular route. Naked Vazal, he was just kept on going, and you cannot consider that to be a pshia, outright negligence. Kamashmal, the answer is no. You have to be careful. You should have, rehearsed the route before you set sail. It's considered negligence, and they are patur. We have a group traveling through the desert. And they were attacked, and the guys, the bandits, robbed them. One fellow gets up there, and he wards off the attack, chases them away, gets back everything. Who does that belong to now? Hitzela goes back to everybody. Everybody gets his thing back. It does not belong to this savior. But if he had declared in advance of his heroic efforts on the Atzla Atzmi, I'm going to go salvage everything, but it's going to be mine. I'm going to keep it. Hitzla Atzmi, in this case, he can keep it. What exactly happened? If they have the ability to, counterattack and get their stuff back, then they were not miyayish. They're still expecting it back, not giving up on it. So I feel the same phenomenal answers. Even if he declared that he's going to keep it, who cares? He's a Gazlan, it doesn't belong to him. If they can't, they have no ability to retrieve their items. So I feel the So even in the first case, where he didn't make this declaration, he still deserves it because they gave up on it. It's hefker. So either way, we don't understand. We're speaking about partners. They were business partners. And Rashi says, we're going to be speaking either they have the ability to save or not, doesn't matter, but they're shutfim. We expect partners to make the extra effort for each other. Right? That's the expectation. So like in this type of case, so true, if he hadn't stipulated, then it's understood that you're making the effort for the team. But if you get up and say otherwise, I'm keeping this stuff, what you're really saying is, look, I'm going on my own. I'm dissolving the partnership right here. Okay, so now, Omar Polak, if you made that announcement, so that's tantamount to separation, to dissolving of the arrangement, and he can keep, Rashi says he can keep his part. No, he can keep everything, basically. But loy amar loy palak. But if he didn't make that announcement, then he did not disengage. And therefore, we assume that he's doing it for the team, for the whole shutfus. And therefore, everybody, keeps their chelik. Now, Rashi is mashma that even when he made that announcement, I'm keeping, he's disengaging from the partnership, but he's only going to keep his portion. So basically, let's say, for example, we're dealing with $1,000. There were two partners. He got up and said, look, I'm willing to go out there and do what I have to do, but it's going to be mine. Basically, I'm no longer on the team. So now, if he salvages up to $500, he can keep that. That's considered like his. Whereas if he had not made that, disengagement, then whatever he salvages is considered owned by the two partners. He only gets, in proportion to his partnership. That's one pshat in the Gemara. Rabbi Amar, there's another pshat. Hacha bepoyel askidan. We're speaking about a worker. You hired a yid to do work for you, and all kinds of jobs, right? And he's on the road with you, and he's coming to help with the robbers. Ukarav, and this works like Rav. Dama Rav poyel yachal lachser by afil b'chatzi hayom. Halacha is that when you hire a yid, he can turn around and decide, I'm done for today. Even though you hired him for the day, he can just cancel. We're going to see soon, it's based on a pasuk. Bava Kamma the Baba is done. And of course, until he cancels, until he resigns from the job, whatever he does, he's doing for the balabais who hired him. So that's what happened here. These fellows were robbed, and there's no way for them. They can't get their stuff back. And this fellow was a Superman. He went and he did it. So now, if he had not said anything, whatever he's gaining, whatever work he's doing, including retrieving these robbed items, he's doing it for the sake of his employer. But if he gets up and says, "Look, I'm keeping the stuff," right? When he is chayzer and says, "Look, I'm no longer working for you," it's not because it's not an indication of any sort that when he was a worker, we don't follow this formula of yodai kiyad balabayis, that whatever he keeps and acquires is for the owner. No, it's not an indication to the contrary. It's just that he has the ability to cancel, to resign, to stop. It's based on a different reason. The pasuk says, "Look, you can hire a yid to do work for you, but you haven't acquired the person. He's committed until he decides otherwise." The Siv Kili Bnei Yisrael Avadim. Hashem says, "Look, Bnei Yisrael are Avadim to me. You can't become Eved to a yid who's meant to serve me as well, right?" So basically, you can hire someone to do work for you, and as long as he's working for you, his yad is like the balabais. Whatever he retrieves from the robbers belongs to the balabais. But when he gets up and says, "Look, I'm going to make the effort, but it's going to be mine," what he's really saying is, "I'm no longer your worker," and he can do that. Rav Ashi Amar comes a third shot. We're speaking about a total stranger stepping in and retrieving the robbed goods. And we're also speaking that the group who is robbed are yochel lahatzl. Here comes the punchline. With much effort. If they put in the effort, they can get their stuff back. Oh. So now, Goli daiti la'atzmo. When this fellow got up and says, "Look, I'm willing to do this, but I'm going to keep it." And the group, the victims, kept quiet. They were silent. Their silence is indicative of consent. Look, they're obviously not willing to make the effort to get their stuff back, so therefore he can keep it. Because they did yush. But loigali daiti lamtzo. If he hadn't made this announcement, right? So since they have the ability to retrieve their items, they're not thinking in terms of, well, this fellow's keeping it. They're not miyayish. So mistama, there's no yush, and therefore, lamtza goes back to the owners. Hagoizel sodem mechaver et lo mesikin. Shimon steals Reuben's property, and then mesikin, Rashi says, anosin. Another group of robbers come and take it from him. Question: does Shimon have to reimburse Reuben for the lost field? Sure, I stole it, but I was going to return it. Now it's gone. It was robbed from me. Who's responsible? Immakas madinahi. If these robbers rob other people's fields as well, it wasn't a targeted attack, on the Goslin's property. They just went randomly and. So So Shimon can tell Reuben, "Look, here's your field. It's right there. I'm not responsible for what they did. They took it. Fine, take it back from them. But if it was targeted, they came to take the Goslin's field. So he's the cause. So now he's responsible. He has to go and replace this field with another field. Basically, give the Nigzal back his field, because he was the cause for this loss. We speak about the word masikin, robbed, right? Taken away, destruction. Mandatani masikin lemishtabish, umandatani masikin lemishtabish. Apparently there were two gersais, two versions, either with a samach or a tzadik, and each version is correct. Masikin is not a mistake, and masikin is not a mistake. They're both pretty much the same idea. Man Datani Metzikin Lemishtabish. You have the word Metzikin, it's not a mistake, because it's based on a pasuk in the Teichachim. T'chsiv v'matzik. So matzik is difficulty. It creates trouble. Uman Datani Metzikin Lemishtabish. Metzikin is also not incorrect. T'chsiv, because in that parsha it says that the grasshoppers will, consume all the produce. Yoresh hatzlotzal, certain type of grasshopper. Umetargiminan, and in the Targum in Aramaic we have the words yachsenine saka. So the saka, the grasshopper, will destroy and clean out the field. So the gazlan in our case is called a masikin, because in a way it's compared to the grasshopper that robs and destroys. So, if it was just a random, thing, so he's not chayv. But if they came because of him, the robbers took the gazlan's field because it belonged to the gazlan, then he's responsible because he brought about the loss. Hey Chidami, why exactly are you attributing it to him? What exactly happened? Are we speaking perhaps that they took Shimon's field, the gazlan, and nobody else's? Apparently, because he has his name on it. They came for him. Well, so, of course he's chayiv. We know that from the first part of the Mishnah. If it's a general makas medina, where everybody is losing and everybody's being attacked, so then it's not a personal attack on the ganav, so he's not personally responsible. And we can learn from there, we can imply, it's not a general issue, it's a local issue, then he's responsible. So we know that from the first part of the Mishnah. Why does the Mishnah have to repeat? Well, if it's his fault, it must be like this. The Mishnah is adding a new point. Nobody stole. Reuben owned the field. Shimon now decided to strike up some points with the authorities, and he turned to the IRS and says, by the way, I know Shimon has, Reuben has this nice field there, and he pretty much directed them to that field. He's the cause for the field being taken from Reuben. And the Chiddush is that although he didn't really actually do anything, but since he brought about that loss to Reuben, he's responsible. There's another version to this twist, that the Mishnah is including a case like this. Skin was speaking going to Asur Gaim forced, they coerced this fellow Shimon, they tell him, Achvai Arate, show us your fields. They came for his fields. Where are you? Direct us to your properties. Instead of just sufficing with his real properties, he also included the property that he stole from Reuben. You should have done that. And by doing so, he caused it to be taken away. So he's chayiv. So again, the chiddush is that although they're forcing him, right? But they forced him to show his fields. Why did he include the other fellow's field? Not really his. He stole from him, right? So he's chayiv. However, there was a story of a fellow, the Achvi Akari the Chiti the Bereshkalusa. He directed the authorities, the Goyim, the robbers, to a grain pile, carried the Chiti of wheat, the Bereshkalusa belonging to the Bereshkalusa, the head of the community. And by leading them to that property and showing them where they took it away. And they lost it. Also, came to Rav Nachman, so it was brought to Rav Nachman. Right, so the Bereshkalusa came to Rav Nachman. So Rav Nachman obligated this fellow to pay for that loss. Yosef Rav Yosef. Achered Rav Huna Bar Chia. So Rav Nachman was sitting in the front, giving the, presenting these halachas. And Rav Yosef was sitting behind, Yosef Achered behind the Rav Huna Bar Chia. And Rav Huna Bar Chia was sitting right in front of Rav Nachman. Yosef Rav Huna Bar Chia came to Rav Nachman. Amalei Rav Huna Bar Chia Rav Nachman. Rav Huna Bar Chia turns to Rav Nachman. I want to ask you something. Dina iknasa. When you sent this person the bill to pay for this lost wheat, was it, the standard chiyuv, or was it just an added, some sort of penalty? For some reason, maybe he was accustomed to doing these things, and, so what's it based on? Is it a din or a knas? Amalei, so Rav Nachman says, well, it's our Mishnah. Masnisani, this nani machas hagazlan chayv lamalei tzadeh. Right? If the gazlan brought about this loss, he has to compensate. Now, Vokimna, and we know we just explained that the Mishnah is speaking about this type of case, that the gazlan, to show them, he advised them to take this field. So we see that a meiser, it's called a meiser. The person who hands over property to the guy is chayv. So that's what happened by me too. He brought about this hefsed, this loss, the Reish Galusa, he has to pay. Now, Basa the Nafak. So this was Rav Nachman's response to Rav Huna bar Chia. Now, Rav Yosef was sitting behind, and he was, listening in. Basa the Nafak, after Rav Nachman left the room, Amalei Rav Yosef Rav Huna bar Chia. So Rav Yosef turns to Rav Huna, why are you concerned with whether it's din or what difference does it make? He has to pay. My nafkalach minei. Idunya knasa. What difference is there whether it's a din or a knas? Either way he has to pay. Either way the master has to pay, right? Amalei says, no, of course he has to pay, but idina, if it's an actual din that he has to pay, gamrina minei, so we can derive to other cases as well. A person causes, losses, it's called garami, and he has to pay. Right? Or is it a knas, iknasa? And Rashi says, perhaps this was an exceptional case, or Nachman knew that this fellow had this, this bad habit of doing this type of thing. So he made a special knas. We can't learn from here to other cases. So that was my question. But the conclusion was that it was a din. In which case we know that you chayiv in all types of cases. That you cause loss to another person in this type of fashion. The Gemara is going to proceed with this back and forth of how do we know that we can't learn from a knas? I'm going to try to prove it from various... Okay, we'll see tomorrow. Rez Hashem Yisbarach. So, just recap today's daf. We have two cases where a person is foregoing his own item, he's giving up his wine for the honey, he's giving up his donkey for the other donkey. Both cases we say, look, mistama, he doesn't have to pay you in full. Unless you stipulate, in this case you have to, because although in the case where the fellow escapes from prison, he doesn't really have to pay full rate, but certainly if he causes him a loss, he has to compensate him for that loss. If he was not successful in his endeavor, right, to save that donkey, he doesn't have to get, he's not going to get fully paid. We have the whole Ahmed speaking about all types of arrangements regarding groups of people traveling, donkey drivers, captains, and ships, and all kinds of halachas regarding saving property and who gets what. And we have the halacha of the goizel sadeh mechaberoi, and it was taken from him by masikin, either masikin or matzikin, pretty much the same idea. He's only chayiv if he personally was the cause for that loss. All the best to you, and atzlacha.